Hello folks, welcome back to the second episode on the PoshCraft SMP. My name is Poshewa, and if you watched the last video, you might realize that my chest plate is now enchanted, because last episode we stepped on a magma block, and it broke right before I started recording the ending of the episode. So it is now Protection 4, Thorns 2, and Unbreaking 3. Now, I have full diamond armor, but nowhere to call home other than, well, for what is the most part a sad pile of dirt. Or maybe you would consider it fancy since it is Pod Soul. We have some fresh food cooking, but that is about it. Obviously, we have wheat fields, but I do have this small plot of land that I've laid out since the beginning of the server to have my humble abode in. It's going to require some terraforming here and there because the build is a little bit bigger now than what I originally planned, but I think it's time to start working on that since some people have already constructed things to call home, while I still just have some wheat fields. So without further ado, let's time-lapse it. And with that, the exterior of the house is done. It's a little bit bigger than I originally had said on some previous live streams, as I planned for a hamlet house, meaning in my brain a small village house, but it's turned out a little bit bigger than that, and obviously needs more detailing, maybe some trees, and definitely some more support as it's kind of on the edge of a watery ravine here. Maybe put a bridge right along there would be very nice. But we've had some messages left for us by fellow members of the server, like a request to have flowers for my azalea tree, which seems the answer was not needed. But that's all good, we could always grow some more. And one other left inside a, well, not the interior, because there's yet to be one, but a less than stellar joke left by a fellow member. Why this was left? I don't know. It was not here after I built it, and I came back on the day after, and it was here. So that's always nice. Now, obviously, there is slightly more to do than just the exterior of a house. If we just come on over here through these very beautifully generated trees, we will see not the crafting table, but a small pipe leading from out inside of the earth back down. And that beautifully designed pipe is the only above ground sign of our skeleton farm that I built on stream over at twitch.tv/Poshewa. And as we could see, we have a very nice little window here that we could look in. And we've gotten quite a bit of good use out of it, getting enchantments and bones, of course. But I think it needs a little bit something more above ground. Not only an interior that we will need to build, but just something to signify that it's here, that isn't just a hole in the ground that you have to find. So with that being said, as the skeletons flow into the tube behind me, let's do another time lapse to show you the process. I almost forgot. Before we can get into any sort of time lapse, these trees need to be cleared out. Don't mind the arrow in my arm. Nothing happened. And with that done, we could roll the time lapse. And with that, there's now quite the significant building to mark our very beautiful, or soon to be beautiful, skeleton farm. We have some bone blocks here to signify that it's a skeleton farm. Very, very minor detail, but it's nice. There's a couple things missing from my original design. If you probably could notice that this was kind of built off of screenshots from my creative testing world, where I conceptualize buildings. But as a shell, obviously it doesn't have an inside yet, but we are soon to have such a thing. But, you know, we could come in here, we could look at them flow up through here, and I'm thinking that we could put some sort of redstone sorting system, or just a general bulk storage, so when you're killing the skeletons down there, all of the resources, bones and such, come up here, because it is, after all, a bone farm, first and foremost. XP is good too, and obviously we don't want to have bows and stuff clogging up our storage at all times, so that could be something we could do down the road. Obviously the inside is just as rough as the inside of my house, but for the time being, it definitely livens up the area that isn't just a tube, just sitting above ground in a forest. Now we could connect it up with our paths, and paths that lead to elsewhere in the world. So we could do the little trick that I love for doing roads, just kind of randomly break up a bunch of dirt, like so. And then take some coarse dirt and just fill it in, and connect up from here all the ways to our house. Throw down some spruce slabs here, just like that, and we have the beginnings of a path that can connect up to our nice, little bit more than hamlet house. So let's get that done. With that done and dusted, we now have a path leading from our house all the ways to our very beautiful skeleton farm building. If we bring ourselves inside, I've started the rudimentary interior that we could finish up with just a couple more blocks of cobbled deep slate here. Not there. And up... Ooh. And up here, just to give ourselves a little bit of a roof line in the interior, we have a rudimentary inside. That too. Just patch up all the holes. And we have a little bit of an inside. This isn't the floor that I particularly want to go with. I would like to do like a mixture of maybe some birch and some beehives to get a nice pattern, but I currently don't have bees, and I don't know where my silk touch pick went. It was borrowed, and I can't find it. So until I can get bees, we'll have to settle with the cobblestone floor, and eventually we'll have some sort of storage system in here. It'll be a good place to store our bones for either my use or other people's use. With a slight change to the scenery, I thought it would be a good idea to finish off a project that I started on stream, and that project being a Hoglin Farm that is somewhere around here. There it is. We started on stream and originally intended it to be finished on that stream, but I minorly ran out of resources and didn't realize that the server has a plugin to disable me being able to break bedrock. So I ran out of ender pearls to come back and forth and decided not to finish it on that day. But before I end the episode, I thought we would just, you know, finish it up so everyone can have infinite food on the server. So I've completed the Hoglin Farm, and we've managed to amass a small sum of a little over 5,000 cooked pork chops in just under an hour. And you might see that there's a slight difference in my apparel and my inventory, and that is because I logged back onto the server and was just dead. As you can see in this screenshot, no reason, just in a void. I have no clue. I went through server backups and everything because I was the only one that had to play it on the server for a couple days, and nothing. The only point where I'm not dead is before I built the skeleton farm earlier in the episode and all of that good stuff. So we're kind of set back a little bit in terms of equipment, and I don't know what the next step is. It'll have to be figured out. But for me, that's the end of the episode, unfortunately. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully I'll be alongside some others to maybe fight the Ender Dragon. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye. Die, piggies. Huh. That was a weird dream.